Yeah, we have a guest with us today. We're talking about men and mental health and why it's important for men to actually talk about how they're feeling. That's not traditional, really. Earlier this week, in fact, Oregon native NBA All-Star Kevin Love, he opened up to Carson Daly on the Today Show, talked about a panic attack he had early last season.
Did your teammates know at the time what had happened to you?
No. They had texted me after the game and had no idea what happened. So I just kind of brushed it off because in our sport or in life and being a man, you're taught to suppress it. You're taught to, in a lot of ways, suffer in silence.
So that was a big announcement that he made. We're here with Dr. David Shenmiller, a psychologist, PhD, and basically what he was saying is, you know, he came out to say what was bothering him, and he felt like he would have been shunned or he would have been thought as a weaker person for doing so. What are you seeing with guys and the fact that we're told we need to open up and be vulnerable, but it's so hard for us to do that?
Yeah, I think that's really true. I think, you know, one of the things that I love about where we're at as a culture today is that there are a lot more mixes in the messages that we get as men. So there is a lot more of a message of saying, like, you know, you can come out and you can talk with other people about things that are bothering you. I think what makes it complicated still is that there is also generations above us or people who are older than us that grew up with a different model where it was really, really important to show no vulnerability, show no weakness, show no feeling, right? Always be the sturdy oak, right? Or the stoic one, that sort of thing. Always be competent at all costs. And so there are these, I think, you know, again, multiple messages that are out there, and today's men are trying to make sense of where they fit with each of those sets of messages.
Yeah, I mean, it seems culturally and over time things have definitely changed. We're not terribly far removed, a generation, maybe two, from where fathers, men in general, weren't really lovey-dovey. A lot of dads didn't say I love you to their kids or maybe even the rest of their family. Obviously, we've advanced quite a ways from that. But do you think there's still going to take some doing to get guys like Jordan, like me, to come in and to talk about our feelings, to make sure we're doing okay, that we're not just bottling up? Because yes, by nature, like it or not, from a young boy to now, you're pretty much taught to be tough. Just quit it. Don't be a wimp. Quiet. Right?
Yeah, you're totally right. There's a lot of significant consequences when you step outside that box. Right, so there's this, actually there's this great notion of what's called precarious manhood, which is the idea that, you know, your status as a man or as a male can always be taken away if you just step outside the box, right? And what's interesting is we all know what the rules are of that box. We all know, whether it's, you know, how we learned it. We all have a sense of what those rules are, right? If you cry, if you get hit in the face you know, with a ball, right? Or if you...
So we've obviously been living for centuries now with this one stipulation or this one, you know, stigma like men are tough. Why are we changing it up now, and how do we go about changing it up?
Yeah, great question.
Why, I guess the why. Let's start with why. Why do we need to be doing this now?
Why do we need to be changing up? Well, I think, you know, even taking a step back, why is it important, right? We have to figure that on some level there was a reason why we got these messages to begin with. Right. So there was so in other words, there are some strengths to being men, some good things about those old models, right, that helped keep people safe, for example, or maybe kept roles kind of like strict or rigid. And maybe in times past that worked better. You know, where we're at now, though, and to kind of the answer of why are we looking to change these things is because we have 40, 50 years of data from psychological science demonstrating that when men adhere more rigidly to these gender roles, right, when we stick to the expectations of who we're supposed to be, don't show affectionate behavior, kind of what you're talking about, like, you know, I can't say I love you, especially to another man, right? Don't show your feelings, don't fail. Always be competent, right? Never cry and never be anything other than the strongest man you can be. We have data that show that when the more rigidly people hold to those, the more distress they experience overall. And this is kind of a broad brush thing, right? All men are different as a group of people, right? So not every man says I can't cry and then suffers major consequences. But there is a link between men's depression, men's anxiety, anger, violence, a lot of the things that we really like, that harm our communities and ourselves.
Well, we are out of time,
together.
but we did want to get this conversation started today. You want to be tough, guys. Be strong enough to go get some help when you need it. Okay, take care of yourselves. Thanks, Doc. Thanks for being